What is going on, everybody? Gabriel Jones here, giving you a drop a sign any chance I get. Today, we are going to be doing some more talk about Eurovision 2024. This video shouldn't be super long. I'm only going to be talking about the Big Five plus Sweden. And I'm going to have a little bonus section where I talk about my favorite non-representatives of the season. Needless to say, we got an interesting batch on our hands to talk about. I didn't really watch too many other national selections. I only tuned in for Sweden. But I am intrigued to find what artists that they chose to send to Malmo. I shouldn't waste any more time because we got a small batch to get through and it shouldn't take too long. So why don't we talk about the Big Five of Eurovision 2024. The first song of the Big Five is Slimane with his song Mon Amour, and that is representing France. Slimane Nebchi was born in Chelles, France, and he released a few songs early in his career. He appeared on competitions of Nouvelle Star and The X Factor, but it wasn't until he was on The Voice, La Plus Belle Voix, that he got his big break. He won The Voice in 2016, and it was very impressive how he made all the judges turn their chairs. Now that I've researched Yolanda, I properly know the rules of the show. It was after his victory that he really started to blow up. He released his debut album, Abou des Rêves, in the same year. Nearly every album of his has reached #1 on the France charts. Wow. And the only exception was Saloon, which peaked at #2. He's also delved a little bit into musical theater. He appeared in the musical Marie Antoinette et les Chevaliers des Maisons Rouges. And let me tell you, my man knows how to inject passion into his voice. And I have to comment on how cool it is that France submitted 2 singers of African heritage in back-to-back years. You know, Zorra having roots in Morocco, Slimane having roots in Algeria. I'm not gonna lie, that actually is pretty commendable. And then came the song Mon Amour, which received a lot of attention for being the first song released for the 2024 season. And it emerged with a bang. The gentle piano conveys his sadness beautifully. The beat showcases the intensity of Slimane's emotions. And he pleads and begs for his ex to return to France and become his lover again. He doesn't even know why he wants her back. Maybe it's to not be alone? Who knows? But the performance is immaculate, and it sells the emotion he's feeling. This entry is a favorite of mine, and I can already see it earning more points than A Vie de Monde. Like, they could bounce back from that. And now we're walking all the way to Germany and visiting ISAAK with his song Always on the Run. ISAAK Guderian was born in Minden in 1995. Hey, same birth year. He got his start in the arts pretty early. He delved into street music as a teenager and joined the X Factor in 2011 by singing Wonderwall. He began composing his own music during the COVID pandemic, and that gave him a chance to compete in the online series Show Your Talent, which he ended up winning. Congratulations, dude. And his online fame didn't even stop there. I remember seeing Pink react to his cover of Who Knew on YouTube, and she even gave him a shout out, saying he made the song unsingable. That is high praise, let me tell you. He's a super vulnerable man in his lyrics, showing a lot of appreciation for his lover. He sort of gives me Louis Capaldi vibes because he sings with a ton of strain. But then we have Always on the Run, and that is a fascinating angle for the German delegation to take. It leans into soul, and it reminds me of a lot of those soulful British singers who got big in the mid-2010s, you know, Sam Smith, Ella Henderson, John Newman, those people. Like, the instrumentation is actually rich. The piano's creating the melodies, the touch of organs, the flutes before the chorus, the bass guitar in the second verse. There's even some sound effects sprinkled here and there, like the cocking of the gun, the elephants, the broken glass, like those little subtle effects. And the song shows how ISAAK tends to run from the intrusive thoughts in his brain, aching to be given a sign. And I can relate to his message, given how my intrusive thoughts get to me a lot. And I know it might sound crazy, but I can see this song scoring big points. Like, maybe I've been drinking too many Weihenstephaners as of late. But ISAAK might actually avoid finishing in last place. Always on the Run is actually a very impressive entry, and perhaps he'll see plenty of televotes in his future. And now we have one of the most anticipated performers in this year's contest, Angelina Mango's La Noia, which is representing Italy. She was born in Maratea, Italy in 2001. Man, I'm getting old. And her parents are Giuseppe Mango and Laura Valente. And what's really interesting is that her parents appear to be pretty famous in Italy. Like, Giuseppe was described as an innovator of Italian pop and rock. And Laura is also a famous singer, so she must be very proud of her heritage. And that goes for her brother Filippo also. I haven't looked up too much about him, but I'm sure he's producing a lot of good stuff. Angelina cites the Rolling Stones, Nirvana, and Aretha Franklin as influences, so she looks to American music for the greats. She briefly studied at a scientific high school, but she eventually pursued music and played in a band with her brother. She released her first single, Vai Tutto Bene, in November 2020, and came out with her first EP, Monolacale, the same year. She competed in a few music competitions, like for example, she won the live award at Musica de Ber, and her music has actually achieved a ton of great success in her home country. Like she released her follow-up EP, Voglia di Vivere, in May 2023, which peaked at number 2 on the FIMI album chart, and was certified gold. And her song, Che To Dico A Fa, achieved platinum status. Like, wow! You go, Angelina. Angelina seems to be known for a ton of fun dance pop anthems. I was shaking my tush every time I played another song of hers on YouTube. I had to give multiple likes to her music videos. And it's pretty crazy how Angelina Mango is the first solo female artist Italy has submitted to the contest in years. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, you could sort of count Victoria De Angelis, but she was part of a group. Angelina is like the first solo female artist in quite some time. La Noia offers a ton of festive fun. Angelina sings about having to find the joy in difficult times because time can be too precious to waste on boredom. I'm told the song leans into cumbia, which originates from Latin America. I should probably immerse myself a little bit more into that genre. Her singing sounds very frustrated, which fits the song's tone cleverly. Angelina once again shows how masterfully she can make dance songs. The hype for this song is pretty insane, and I will be surprised if it flops. And now, it's time to get very naughty. Our next song is Zorra by Nebulossa, who are representing Spain. Nebulossa is a duo consisting of Maria Mary Bas, who is the vocalist, and Mark De Sosa, who is the keyboardist and producer. Mary and Mark first met each other on an elevator in 2018, and it looks like their relationship flourished into something beautiful because they are now married with 2 kids. They came up with the group name after visiting an astronomical conservatory and added 2 S's to pay homage to Valencian language. Wow. From there, they released a good amount of music. They debuted their EP UFO in 2019 and released their first album, Polidrica de Mi, in 2020. They actually have tried out for Eurovision before. They competed in Una Voice per San Marino in 2022, but they failed to make it to the final. Damn. And the duo has a major 80s aesthetic, and they almost remind me of Madonna, you know? And as a lot of people have noted, it's funny how Megara competed in Benidorm Festival but didn't get chosen, and how Nebulosa competed in Una Voice per San Marino but didn't get chosen. And all they had to do was switch national finals. So there you have it. Zorra gives the listener the same soothing synth pop sound Nebulossa is known for. Mary's vocals are so easy on the ears, and the song aims to reappropriate an insult that's been levied against women in Spain for years. I gotta say, that's very commendable, Mary and Mark. You really know what you're doing there, and I commend it. This song already has a devoted audience, and they will be sure to connect with millions. And now we get to talk about the host country, that is Sweden, and the artist they have this time around is Marcus and Martinus, and their song is Unforgettable. They are twin brothers who were born in February 2002 in Elverum, Norway. I believe they competed on Melodi Grand Prix in 2012 with 2 Drops of Water and won, and their song peaked at number 8 on the Norwegian singles charts. I watched their performance for myself, and it was all sorts of cute. Like, they were like a Norwegian Zack and Cody. They released their debut album, Hey, in 2015, and it peaked at number 1 and stayed in the top 10 for 20 consecutive weeks. Like, wow. So those guys are hugely famous in their home country. That's also exemplified by the fact that they scored a number 1 hit in 2016 with the song Girls, and their first album fully in English together hit number 1 in Norway and Sweden. So their Swedish success starts there. And they've worked with a few American artists. They went on tour with Jason Derulo, and they released their song Like It, which was a collab with Silento. Oh yeah, I mean, at least they can feel proud of working with one of those guys. They also won the Swedish version of The Masked Singer in 2022, so looks like they have something to talk about with Nemo. These two are extremely cute, and you can tell they've been fiercely trained to be pros at pop. It's like if Justin Bieber became a star in Norway and he cloned himself. Well, I'm sure Saba has had fun mingling with them. I remember seeing them at Melody Festivalen last year, where they came up just short of winning the contest behind Loreen. So they're probably thrilled they now get their time to shine. For this year's contest, Medina and Daughter were my two personal favorites, and maybe Medina will come back strong in the near future. Unforgettable is a pretty fun entry to listen to. The drop is an earworm. I can imagine people busting some sick dance moves while watching them. There's really not a deeper meaning to it. It's simply about a bad, attractive woman that they can't stop thinking about. Although I do think their presentation is pretty interesting with the enclosed space and the digital timers. That'll probably stand out to viewers. These two are a lot of fun, and I'm glad they're going to be repping their country. Fans will have a blast with them. And now, last but not least, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Olly Alexander, with his song Dizzy, and that is for United Kingdom. Oh boy, here we go. So he was born in Harrogate, England, and one thing I was surprised to learn about Olly is that he acted in plays as a teenager. In fact, it turns out he wasn't initially a singer when he started working in entertainment. He was a movie actor. He first appeared in Summerhill, and that led to other roles in films like Bright Star, Enter the Void, and Gulliver's Travels. That Jack Black movie, which was adapted from the Jonathan Swift story. I mean, you're a real trooper if you have to share a screen with James Corden and TJ Miller. More famously, though, he played the lead role in the miniseries It's a Sin in 2021, and I believe that he was in talks to receive some BAFTA nominations, so that is insanely huge. It wasn't until 2010 that he joined the band Years and Years, after Mikey Goldsworthy heard him singing in the shower. So it's the Will Schuester method of building music group. They released their debut single, I Wish I Knew, in 2012, and came out with their first album, Communion, in July 2015, which reached #1 on the UK charts. They scored a #1 hit with King, and other top 10 hits include Shine and If You're Over Me. I was actually thrilled that Olly Alexander was announced as the UK's representative, since I was already familiar with his work years in advance. I'm very fond of the song Sweet Talker. In fact, I even did a short reaction to it a few years ago. You can check that out if you want to. But to talk about Dizzy, it could be a real joy to see him perform it on the Malmo stage. I'm picturing him singing the song on a rotating platform like in the video. And the song has so many lovely touches, like the church bells, the spoken monologue, and the way the production briefly halts after the second chorus. For me, the ultimate earworm is when the song seemingly enters a major key towards the end of the chorus. I just can't get that out of my head. It's addicting. Much like Unforgettable, this one doesn't have too much to dig into. The song is simply about Olly wanting his lover to kiss him so sweetly that it makes the room spin and transport him to a new place. I mean, if we're being honest, it doesn't seem like a contest winner, but I can imagine people will jump out of their seats for Olly. There is quite some hype around this one. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Big Five this year, plus Sweden. A lot of good stuff to find with them, not gonna lie. But before I get on to ranking those countries, something I want to do is give my list of favorite non-representatives for this year. I remember the ESC Discord did a thing called NF50 where people ranked their favorite songs and artists that didn't win their national selections but they still really loved. I took part in that also, and I figured now would be a great time to reveal my actual list for that. So without further ado, here are my top 10 favorite non-representatives for this season of Eurovision. So there you have it, my list of favorite non-representatives for this year's contest. And now we can return to talking about the Big Five. And I'm not gonna lie, I think the Big Five is a lot more stacked this year than it was last year. I actually had quite a difficult time ranking these entries. Last year it was not too difficult because, Tovorchi was obviously #1. But this go around, I was struggling to see who would go in what place. But it's like what we always say here, we gotta rip off the band-aid and just get it over with. So let's talk about who I ranked here. And I'm Ant-Man sized again. But to talk about the ranking here, I put Marcus and Martinus at #6 with Unforgettable. They're very charming and fun and handsome guys, but the song's just not connecting with me too much, and there's nothing too much for me to dig into there. Then at number 5, I have Olly Alexander with Dizzy. I really like some of the tricks he pulls off with this one, like the church bells and the way the key changes. But much like with Unforgettable, there's not really much to examine when focusing on the lyrics. So yeah, I'm not ranking him too high on this list. Angelina Mango is number 4 with a noia, and this is where I put my life in my hands because I know a lot of people are getting behind La Noia. I think it's really fun. I really like the energy it has. The tempo is really neat. But yeah, I guess like compared to some of the other entries, it's just not doing as much for me. Although I do hope that Angelina is able to score some big points because there is some neat stuff to find in this one. Nebulossa with Zorra. They are number 3. I love the message it puts out there. I love the 80s aesthetic. It's very calming in a way, and I think that the contest could use some of that. And I know for a fact that it's going to provoke a lot of people. So yeah, we'll see what happens with them. ISAAK at number 2 with Always on the Run. I know y'all are going to say I'm crazy. I know it, but I'm getting behind this pick. Because, honestly, I can relate to this song. I really feel what ISAAK is singing about. And I really am impressed with his vocal performance on this one. And how he plays with the instrumentation on this one. It really takes me back. So, yeah. I'm rooting for ISAAK to score big, you know? Let's just hope he pulls through. Let's just hope. And then Slimane is number 1 with Mon Amour. The passion he puts into this song, the emotion, the vocal performance, the lyrics, the way they hold weight. Oh my god, yes, I love this one. I love it so much. And I really hope that France enters the top 10 this time because Évidemment, you know, I admit it could have earned a few more points, but Mon Amour, oh boy. This one I have a lot of high hopes for. So let's hope that he is able to wow that audience. And I'm normal sized again. But yeah, that is my video on the Big 5 plus Sweden and my favorite non-representatives. I hope you guys had fun with this one, and I'll be back next week to give my overall ranking of every single entry in the contest this year. But in the meantime, if you want to follow me on social media, be sure to check out my Blue Sky, my Twitter, my Twitch, and my TikTok. Links will be in the description. And that's where we're going to wrap up today. My name is Gabriel Jones, and the sun may be setting, but I hope you were able to soak up those drops. Take care.